This morning, I was scrolling through my phone and kind of getting ready for this presentation, and there was an article on the Spokesman Review, and it was about small business development and Snap and a small business actually utilizing some of the resources that Spokane Neighborhood Action Partnership has, and I went, awesome, that's right exactly what I'm talking about today. So I went and bought a paper, used as a prop to show you guys and do this, and actually the article was in yesterday's paper, so but I did write down the quote that I really wanted to take.
75 cents back from the
No, it's like But the cool quote that was in there that I thought would be interesting for the start of this conversation was from the business owner that was utilizing those resources. And they said, when you dive into opening a small business, you think you know everything. And then you figure out how little you actually know. And ain't that the truth, right? For those that have owned small businesses or large businesses or no business but are just, in a company, every day we're trying to learn more and more. And there's a million things we don't know, and there's a million things that we need to share with each other so we can get better in this community about doing business. So when we put this panel together, I sort of boxed myself into business resources because that's where I've been in the last couple years, helping individuals and small companies find the things they need to succeed. So that's where I get to talk today. I'm just going to watch it to make sure it doesn't move on me. Previous owner, 2 companies, that sort of leads into I'm one of you guys to a certain degree. I've gone through the crying, the failures, the ups and downs, having no money, having a little bit, and it trains you a lot about how to be a better human and to really scratch at finding the things you need to succeed if you really want this. Early co-founder of Innovation Collective, for those that are familiar, that's a fun group here in town that Nick Smoot's leading on and doing great work in. So we partnered on that a few years ago, but I got the really unique opportunity to go to Spokane and lead a program called Startup Spokane. And so I was the director there for about 2 years, and the same sort of idea, providing an area for entrepreneurs to interact, a culture around entrepreneurship, a co-working space, and the organization of all the different resources was really the back end of my job. So what we did was realize that in Spokane, they're 10 times the size of Coeur d'Alene, 5 times the size, but they have hundreds of resources around small business, but they're all over the place, and none of them ever talk to each other. And so really, the first thing we did was just hold a general assembly of about 14 individuals that ran different organizations, said, do you guys know each other? You're all serving the same people. And then from that, we grew it a little bit and grew it. And right now, I work at North Idaho College, and I'm part of that group that we started. There's about 55 organizations that meet every month, and not everyone shows up every month, but just to share who's working with who and who's helping who. And it gets to the idea of these resources that you can utilize are trying to work for you. They're here for you. And a lot of individuals don't like to take advantage of them because they think they're a business owner and they got to do it all themselves. So let's start with a question. What's the difference between a business owner and an entrepreneur? Because I technically come from this entrepreneur world, but I'm talking to small business today. But is there a difference? When I Google small business owner, I get people in aprons, like sleeves, right? This is what comes up.
So true.
This is your small business owner, right? And when I Google entrepreneur,
This is what comes up.
this is the fearless demo club model. This is what you think of when you're talking about entrepreneurs versus small business owners. But I'll challenge you, the small business owner on the right-hand side, one year in business, most likely, 1 employee and losing money. And then the entrepreneur, 10 years, 5,000 employees and $20 billion in revenue. And so what are these terms and how do we use them? They count, they matter. It's just something that I've noticed over time is how we speak to who we're speaking to. And especially when we talk about entrepreneurs in this community versus small business, I'm considering the same because they all have customers, they all need capital, they have competition, there's strategy, there's legal marketing, all these buzzwords mean the same things to these people. What they are is along a different spectrum. There are different points in their life cycle of a company. So you can be an entrepreneur and have a lot of capital, or you can have no capital. And you can be a small business owner and be the same sort of thing. The terms are interchangeable to me. And so when we talk today, we're talking about small business owners, entrepreneurs, whoever you want to be, that's fine. You can identify yourselves that way. But what's a community's role in helping a small business? It got wonky. You know, I get this weird look once in a while when I say, you know, the community is here for you, small business owner. And these small business owners and entrepreneurs go, hey, it's my business, I'm doing my own, I don't need your help. Stay out of it. And I go, all right, okay. But, you know, this business idea, and you know, this is the other example of when I Google business owners, entrepreneurs, they're all single people, right? There's no group, there's no duo. It's everybody has to do their own thing. I don't believe that a bit. So I think business owners have a much greater success when they utilize the resources, utilize the community. And it's sort of the, yeah, duh, we're at a chamber event, right? You know, we're trying this already. Great epiphany, right? So, all right. Getting to resources though, I fully believe, you know, my job has been for 3 years to help people find resources. And I don't know them all. But just building this right here, I just sat down and I just typed in everything I knew really quick, and I just stole logos and jammed them up here. I could have done probably 10 of these slides off the top of my head. And I would be impressed to, you know, have somebody challenge me to do something like that, because there's so many resources when we think about not just Coeur d'Alene, but we think about the whole region, Spokane, Liberty Lake, the Valley, even up north towards Meade. And they're all regional resources. So when I talk to Spokane, they'll help North Idaho business owners just as much as North Idaho communities will help Spokane. You know, we have to travel 15 minutes the other direction. I understand, it's hard, but these resources are here for you. So I break them down. There's multiple ways to do this, but connections and community, sort of where we're at today. Knowledge and wisdom, inspiration and exposure, and tools and resources. So I kind of had a challenge. I could have printed off everything I know, you know, hundreds of resources, and handed them out, and you would have just filed them away and never used them. I would have told you, you know, you should go to more chamber events, and you guys would have been pissed that you spent money on this breakfast. So I tried to find something in between. So we did Ryan's top 5 overlooked regional business resources. Things that some of you might know are out there, some of you might not. It was hard to judge who this group would be this morning, but things that I think are valuable, and I'll explain why I think they're valuable to you. So I've sort of doubled down on this. So I've done, you most likely heard of, so I get to say a few different things, and then the one which I would recommend. So the Chamber of Commerce, absolutely. This one, Hayden, Valley, they all put on really great resources. Innovation Collective here in town for entrepreneurs, for AI, for robotics, that futuristic thinking. Rotary is a great example of a great networking group you guys can get involved in. The one I really like is Inland Northwest Partners, that I don't think a lot of you individuals, I've seen you there. And there's a few reasons why maybe, but why I like it. It's got really unique guest speakers. It's focused on regional economic and community development. And small business owners don't often think that they should be at an event like this, but I think it's really the meta of what you guys are doing, right? I mean, you guys are focused on your small business, but you guys are involved in a big network of people. You're involved in a community, and that community affects your business. So you should understand how the community is changing, how leaders are pushing it, whether they're chamber leaders, city leaders, or administrators of our schools and universities. These are the individuals that are typically there, but small businesses are welcome there as well. And so I always go to these because I find them really fascinating. They're cool guest speakers, they're quarterly, they're held all over the region, so people from Moscow show up there, people from Spokane show up there, and it's great connection opportunities. You know, we go to a lot of chamber events. You know, I've seen a lot of you here before, and that's awesome. But we also see a lot of each other here all the time. So it's a good opportunity to do something different and meet other people. So I put it down here in the corner, and you guys are feel free to reach out to me afterwards, and I can send you this information if you're interested in stuff like this. So for knowledge and wisdom, you've probably heard of the Small Business Development Center, SCORE Mentorship, and Ignite Northwest, which is a business incubator out of the Spokane region to help companies grow. And if you haven't heard of these this is the opportunity where I'm doubling down and letting you kind of go out and find these as well. But one of my favorite new educational opportunities in the region is the SBA Emerging Leader Program. Excuse me. They're having a fight in the kitchen over there. So why I like this program, and this program has only ran for a year in the region. It's sponsored by the SBA. It's nationwide, and it's hosted right now out of Spokane Valley, but it's open to all of the Northwest. And it's really sort of an intensive 13-week MBA program. So instead of thinking if you needed to go back to school, and I work at NIC, so you should do that too, but this is an opportunity for you as a business owner to take nightly classes and to really go back and learn accounting, marketing, all the things that you might have not gotten done when you launched this business to begin with. It's developed specifically for leadership of small and mid-sized businesses, so it has a slot limit. It's not entrepreneurs that just have an idea. These are established companies that have been around for 3+ years and have a certain revenue mark they have to meet to be accepted to this program. And it's a really valuable tool that I believe small business owners can take advantage of in the region. So for inspiration and exposure, you guys have probably heard of TEDx, TEDx CDA in Spokane, our local events. The Think Big Festival put on by Innovation Collective, and the Triangle Venture Expo, which is in Spokane, and features about 15 of our emerging startup businesses. Every year we do that one. One of my favorites is actually Startup Weekend, and this is sort of the oddball that I pitched to you guys. Startup Weekend is a 72-hour event that you guys do on a weekend. You pitch an idea at the beginning in sort of a roundtable format. Everybody rallies around ideas, finds teams, and you work on it for 72 hours, and then you pitch it again at the end. There's no award. There's applause, and there's food and snacks, and it's a lot of fun. But why I'm saying this for small business owners, for bankers, for anybody else, is I've been through all of these events, so there's a mentor or participant. You get this inspiration as osmosis is what I call it, right? A lot of us got into our industries, our companies, because we loved them for some reason, and we had passion there. And you lose that over time. That's just human and natural. And what I've found is participating in events like this and being energized with people that are launching new ideas, new companies, you can bring that back to your company. And whether it's translatable in that section of launching that company or not, I've always left that event exhausted and absolutely inspired to be better at my job. And so I pitched this one as sort of my random one, but one that I encourage business owners and people in the community to take on, even if they don't want to launch a startup, because it's a lot of fun. You meet a lot of students and young entrepreneurs, you meet a lot of mentors and advisors, and you get a new view of what's happening in the region. And then I got some bonus ones here. Most likely, for tools and resources, you might have heard of Kitchen Spokane, maybe not. Sorry, excuse me. So Kitchen Spokane is actually a new space within the Silver Lake Mall where you can, it's a commercial kitchen space. And they've utilized some of the spaces behind where Skipper's used to be. So you can actually launch a food company out of that space now. Startup Spokane is the program I used to run in the Spokane region, but it really focuses on the whole region. So those are tools that are available to you, mentorship, business advice. Panhandler Area Council here in town. They provide business assistance, loans, help companies grow, and are doing great work out there. But I'm pitching the library today. And I love Coeur d'Alene Library, and I've got a heart for NIC Library and some of the things we're doing there to grow kind of what our options are. The Spokane Business Library is a really unique example of business resources. They are second only to New York Public Library as far as the resources they provide to businesses. And when we talk about that, it's about the research that they're available to do, that they can do for you. So one of the cool examples is lynda.com, and you guys might have heard of this. It's an online coursework, 6,000 plus courses, anything from accounting to marketing to coding camp. If you have a Spokane Library business card, you can take all those courses for free. And you can be a North Idaho resident and get a Spokane business or library card. So that's available to you. You just gotta, go over there and submit for that. They have dedicated business librarians that will work through your business and actually help you So they actually sit down with you and they'll do market research with you, which is really unique. I've used them for my business, and I remember when I did my first energy efficiency company, and I spent probably a month and a half researching architects and engineers and everybody I was going to mass mail, so they'd be my customers. It took me forever to do that. And Mark sat down with me, Mark Pond at the Business Library, and he did that in like 10 minutes, and his list was much better than mine. And it just proved to me in that moment that these resources count and they save you time and energy. Finally, there's two other things I just wanted to mention, and I got approval from the mayor to mention this today before he's going to mention it on Tuesday, which is pretty cool. So the city of Coeur d'Alene, the CDADC and North Idaho College have been looking at doing a joint program and utilizing our resources together. One of the things that the city brought to our attention was an economic gardening program. This is a national term, and it comes out of a national firm. And what they do is they focus on second stage companies. So it's those companies that are established. It's not new companies, it's not entrepreneurs in that sense, but they have an existing revenue and an existing customer base. And what we provide as a local community, and what we're looking to do, is subsidize this program for our local residents and do a pilot program of about 10 companies. And what we'd like to do is link them in, because this program has national expertise. What you do as a small business is you take your problems, whether it's marketing or whether it's customers, and they have a team of experts that they work with you remotely for the next 5 weeks and build a nice report and build you some tools that you can utilize for your company. And cities, states have sponsored these programs, and they have a really high success rate. And so I've worked with one in Washington State, and I was pretty excited when the mayor just came up to me. He's like, "Have you heard of economic gardening?" I'm like, "Yeah, I have. Why? What are we doing?" So we're looking to do something like this. We haven't put it all together yet, but we've talked about maybe a spring launch, and we're looking for maybe 5 to 10 companies that'd be interested in participating in something like this. So that's all the information I got on this one, but more to come. Finally, what I get to work on at NIC. So I'm going to do my own self-pitch here for a second. North Idaho College has a lot of resources already. Whether we've known it or not, they've been a great business resource tool. And I was hired in this summer to really think about what else we could do and how we can better align all these resources together. So if you didn't know, now you know. Small Business Development Center, which does mentorship and does business development work with small businesses, is actually part of NIC. And they've moved out in Post Falls, and now are in this space we're calling the Co-Creation Center, which is an old building we have called Headland Building, where workforce development used to happen. When we built the Parker Center out in Rockford Prairie, this is the building got vacated. So we're reimagining this building to be focused on small business development, entrepreneurship, creativity, and aligning all of our resources into this building. So Small Business Development Center moved in there as of Jan 1. Our Vista Center for Entrepreneurship program is now hosted in there, and that's Dana Moore, who teaches that certificate coursework. Gizmo Coeur d'Alene, which is our local makerspace, is still unpacking boxes, but they're moving in right now. And so they have quadrupled their size from their Midtown location already, and they've already filled it up. They've got new tools, and it's really exciting. And then when I looked at everything else, NIC Career Services does assistance not only for students, but for small businesses. So when we get to that point in our lives and we go, I don't know what I want to do with my life anymore, that's what a Career Service Center is for. They work you through not a SWOT analysis, well, something like a SWOT analysis, right? But like a DISC analysis or a Myers-Briggs analysis, and to really help you figure out where you should go, what your personality's like. But if you have a small business and you have employees, a lot of companies are steering towards that as well. I know Kootenai Health is training people right now on DISC analysis to help their employees gain growth and understand where they should be in the positions they are. Business library, as I said, libraries are changing. So is NIC's library. We're turned towards providing more resources for our community. So if you have research questions and you don't want to drive to Spokane, we'd be happy to help you at NIC. And then we've talked about all sorts of other fun things like service learning, prototype labs, and fun stuff on our campus as we expand into this building. So I hope you think of NIC as a business resource as well when you start talking about your small business and looking for help. So if you do, call me, text me, send me an email. I'm the person to kind of plug you in to NIC, but anything else as well. That's my job now at North Idaho College, is to help all of you find what you need out here. So if you want to talk about this presentation, if you want to talk about your business and where to find other resources that were mentioned here, I'd be happy to do that with you guys. And challenge me. If there's not something out here that you see that you need, let us know, because I want to help you build it. So thank you. I appreciate the time.